Welcome to Release to Results, everybody. This is our Course in Miracles series, letting go through the workbook of A Course in Miracles. Today we're on lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And the whole idea with this lesson is to become one with and join with all these things that we think we see outside of us and notice, okay, it's in me, it's in my mind. I'm holding this stuff. No matter what I think I'm seeing outside, where am I experiencing it in my mind? Coming to be one with these things rather than attempting to keep them apart from us. This is part of reowning what we are really doing here, what we really are. So we're going to be letting go of this wanting separation with all of these things, wanting to be separate so that we can be one. And it may be a little bit uncomfortable that, oh, I am one with, I have been holding this in my mind. And that's what's going on there instead of something outside that I need to keep away from me. It's reowning power, it's reowning creation, it's being a part of what is. So, as you have feelings coming up for you, could you allow them to come up? Could you ignore the thoughts that go on and on and on and just allow this energy that's been stored, it's keeping you separate from the world, from creation, from reality? Could you just let these feelings come up, sit with them, and let them go? Or not? It's okay. It's just an opportunity. Every time I ask you, could you let it go? It's just a choice, and you never have to. So let's let this energy move and start to come to be at one with what we think we're seeing out there. Lesson 30. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. So, this can be done with eyes open, looking around the room at things. It's also suggested to do some eyes closed. What pops into your mind? What's something that seems to be in the world that you think about? And could you allow yourself to, either eyes closed or eyes open, just start to notice what your focus, what your sight rests upon internally or externally? And when you've got something, could you notice any wanting to be separate from this? Any sense that what you're thinking about or looking at is something outside of you, apart from you? Did you notice any wanting to be separate from this? And first of all, that's okay. Without judging or moralizing about it, could you go behind the thoughts and notice this feeling of wanting separation? Really wanting it to be apart from you. Could you allow whatever that feels like for you to be felt? And could you let it go? Could you let go of wanting separation from this? Would you let go of wanting separation? When could you let go of wanting separation from this? And notice it's in your mind. It's right here. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. So, again, letting your gaze, your focus shift to something else external, some thought or memory, anything that comes to mind or to your sight, eyes open or eyes closed. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Could you notice if there's any wanting to say or believe that this thing is out there somewhere, what I'm thinking about or what I'm looking at? Is there any inclination to be apart, separate from this thing? Could you notice any sense of wanting separation? And without making good or bad of that, could you acknowledge and allow that feeling, letting the thoughts drift by? Just notice what it feels like to want to be separate. Could you even make that feeling bigger? Let that energy come up. Could you allow this feeling of wanting separation from what you see or think about? And could you release that energy? Could you release wanting to be separate from what you see or think about? Would you release? When could you release? And be at one with whatever you're seeing or thinking about, joined. It's only in your mind, right where you are. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Could you allow yourself to gaze upon something else or with eyes closed, see what pops into your mind? And does it seem like whatever is in your mind or whatever you're looking at is out there? Is it apart from you? Is there distance, space between you and that? Does it seem like it? And could you notice any of this sense of wanting to be separate from what you're looking at or holding in mind? And that's okay. Without making good or bad of that, could you welcome this feeling of wanting to be separate from what you're looking at or holding in mind? And could you feel where that feeling of wanting to be separate is lingering, stuck, stored? Could you dive into that feeling of wanting separation, wherever it is? And could you just sit with this energy without trying to change it or make it different? And could you surrender? Give it up. Would you surrender wanting separation from what you see or hold in mind? Think about. When could you surrender wanting separation and atone, be at one with what you see and think about, hold in mind? God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And could you allow the world to open up to you by looking at something in your space or thinking about something? Just seeing what comes up with your eyes closed or eyes open. Where does your vision land? And whatever your vision is upon, either in the mind or in the world, could you notice any belief that you're separate from it or any wanting it to be out there apart from you here? Any sense of wanting separation from what your vision rests upon? And without making good or bad of that, could you simply acknowledge and allow that feeling of wanting separation? Could you open up and allow that energy to move, feel it, notice it? Oh, there's some wanting separation. And you're always welcome to keep it. You are free. And could you release this energy? Just a yes or a no. Would you release this energy of wanting separation? Just let that feeling go, if you could. When could you release? God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. Just coming to a experience of it's not something out there that I'm thinking about or that I'm looking at. Actually, it's in my mind. My entire perception, what seems to be out there in thought or in vision, seeing, is right here, not separate. One. And just taking one more go at this for right now. Could you allow your vision to light upon something, either in your space physically or with eyes closed? What comes to mind? And does it seem to be separate from you? It might seem like that. That's okay. Could you notice any sense of wanting to be separate from this thought, this image, any wanting separation? And could you welcome what it feels like to want to be separate, to be wanting separation, be feeling that? Could you welcome it? Could you welcome more of this feeling? If there's more, is there more you could feel? And could you let go of this feeling? Could you let go of wanting to be separate from what your vision lights upon? Would you let go of wanting to be separate from what you perceive? When could you let go of wanting separation and be at one? God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. So it's suggested to, throughout the day, just apply this idea as often as possible throughout the day. Whenever you have a moment or so, just repeating to yourself slowly, looking about you, trying to realize that the idea applies to everything you do see now or could see now if it was within the range of your sight. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind. And it's a gentle process. We're on lesson 30 of 365, noticing what happens for you, noticing any wanting separation. It's okay. Could you allow that up? Could you release and come to join with what seemed to be out there before? And we do a lot more of these sessions. We're going to have them every day here live on YouTube, but we also do a lot of sessions for other topics besides A Course in Miracles at releasetoresults.com, where you can get 14 days free access to our over 100 live releasing sessions monthly, hundreds of session replays, our community of people who are committed to this releasing process, letting go of anything that's not working for us anymore. And I'll even send you the 3 books that we use to master releasing for free. That's at releasetoresults.com. Unlock greater happiness and freedom in any area of your life. Look forward to seeing y'all in more of these live sessions and have the best day you can. God is in everything I see because God is in my mind.